If there was no Alzheimer's, I wouldn't have had to watch my grandmother go through the struggles she did with this horrible disease when I was 13 and watch what it put my family through at that time. I like to say with my mom, she's still with us, and my dad at the helm, it sucks to be Alzheimer's because they are going to take this thing down. And I cannot wait until the day that we can say they did it. They helped cure Alzheimer's. Please join us.
If there were no more Alzheimer's, there would be far less memories lost, less heartache, and families would not be faced with all the challenges that they're currently facing. I'm fighting for better treatment for those impacted by the disease today and a cure so that we have hope for the future.
If there was no Alzheimer's, we would never have to worry about forgetting the sweet memories we created with our loved ones. I am fighting for all the caregivers across the nation who are working tirelessly around the clock to take care of their loved ones while also balancing their health. Join us.
If there was no Alzheimer's, my grandmother and her family would have lived the last 11 years with better quality of life. I'm fighting for health and I'm fighting for justice for all of us. Join us.
If there were no Alzheimer's, that would be an answer to my prayers. I'm fighting for people like myself who are living with Alzheimer's or a related dementia. And I invite you to join us.
If there were no Alzheimer's in the world would be a much better place. I'm fighting to bring greater awareness to what is becoming a global epidemic. Join us in the fight against Alzheimer's.
If there was no Alzheimer's, my mom would have enjoyed the retirement she dreamed of and worked so hard for. I fight for all the families who are touched by this disease, all those living with Alzheimer's, and those who love and care for them.
I care about dementia because more than 5 million Americans are living with the disease, and I'm fighting in memory of my mother, May Carter Danzy. Join us.
If there was no Alzheimer's, this would be such a great world. I am fighting for all, so no one else must live this dreadful disease. So will you join us? Because my dream is to end Alzheimer's.
If there was no Alzheimer's, there would be millions of people who would still be able to hug their mom, their dad, their grandma, their grandpa, and I'm fighting for those people so that they can continue hugging them. Join us.
If there were no Alzheimer's disease, I might be together with the best man I've ever known tonight having dinner. That's my father, Lester Potts, who died of Alzheimer's disease.
Tonight, we're fighting for a care and a cure in memory of the 8 family members for whom we and our immediate families cared, who either had Alzheimer's disease or vascular dementia.
Will you join us?
If there was no Alzheimer's, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. Our children were graduating from high school, college, and getting married. And Jean and I were looking forward to our grandchildren and growing older together. I'm fighting for a cure. There was a reason why God took us through this journey. Join us.
If there were no Alzheimer's, I would still be working, functioning, feeling like I have a purpose. I'm fighting for the possibility to spread happiness despite having this disease. Join us.
If there was no Alzheimer's, we could all share past memories and throw it back to the good old times. I am fighting for my grandma, Harmony, and everyone who has been affected by Alzheimer's. Join us.
If there were no Alzheimer's, I would be ecstatic.
I would be metastatic.
We are fighting for every family who's impacted by this cruel disease, the people that we lost and the generations yet to come.
Please join us.
I care about brain health because I believe in AARP's mission to empower people to age how they please and to make healthy decisions for their brain health. I hope you'll join us.
Being advocates for Alzheimer's and meeting wonderful people across the country have been really inspiring for both of us and a truly rewarding phase of our lives.
If there was no Alzheimer's, I wouldn't have to worry about my loved ones losing their memories. I am fighting for a future we can all remember. Join us.
I care about dementia because I have seen firsthand how it can slowly and painfully steal your loved one from you. I'm fighting in memory of my father, Vic Cota, who we lost this past July to dementia, and I want to help ensure that other people do not feel this kind of pain. Join us.
I'm fighting for a cure in honor of my dad, who died of AD 3 years ago. Join us.
I'm fighting for a world without Alzheimer's for all communities, regardless of race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, or zip code. Join us.
If there was no Alzheimer's, we would be ecstatic. We're fighting Alzheimer's for our friends and family and for my patients. Join us.
If there were no Alzheimer's, the world would be void of millions of lives disrupted by heartbreak. But there would not be the opportunity to learn radical friendship that we all need. I'm fighting for faith communities to understand that through dementia-trained volunteers, we can come alongside people living with Alzheimer's and dementia, and we can help them reclaim purpose, meaning, and growth. Join us.
If there were no Alzheimer's, we wouldn't have to choose between caring for our loved ones and pursuing our career ambitions. I am fighting for my grandparents who I have cared for and for all other millennials and Gen Zs who will disproportionately bear the burden of Alzheimer's. Join us.
And if Alzheimer's no longer existed, well, first I know my mom in heaven would be extremely happy. You see, she lived with Alzheimer's for 30 years. As for me and my company Alzheimer's Speaks, we would proudly and happily be out of a job. Let's end Alzheimer's.
If there were no Alzheimer's, we would be able to remember our loved ones and share more memories together. I'm fighting for those who have been caregivers and gone through the painful memories of the disease. Please join us in this fight.
I care about dementia because I've lost several loved ones to Alzheimer's. I'm currently worried about brain health because both of my parents are socially isolated due to staying at home during this pandemic. I'm fighting on behalf of all people affected by dementia. Join us.
If there was no Alzheimer's, I would be overjoyed at the fact that we could all remember our lifetime memories and all of our loved ones. I'm fighting for 2 clients that I took care of when I was a professional caregiver. It was they who brought the reality of Alzheimer's to my world, and they're the reason why I'm inspired to be an advocate and a leader in this space. Join us.
I care about dementia because my beautiful, intelligent mother suffers from dementia, and I'm going to continue to fight in her honor. Won't you join us?
If there was no Alzheimer's, it would suggest to me that we've been able to conquer a neurodegenerative disease. And it means that future neurodegenerative diseases can also be treated and prevented. I'm fighting for families and friends to be able to continue to share their memories as they get older throughout their lifespan. Join us.
If there was no Alzheimer's, we wouldn't have to worry about losing our loved ones to such a disease where they slowly forget us. I'm fighting for the value of those memories and keeping our loved ones close to us. Join us.
If there was no Alzheimer's, women like me could do more than spend decades of our lives caregiving. I'm fighting for my mom, my dad, my father-in-law, who all died with dementia. Join us.
I care about dementia because I know how hard it is on families. I fight in memory of my mother and father, and in honor of all those people who made my parents struggle with dementia just a little bit easier. We are working to reduce risks to brain health and to improve care for people living with dementia now. Join us.
If there was no Alzheimer's, then those affected would have the freedom they deserve. I'm fighting for youth to get involved with advocating for policies to help make that a reality.
If there was no Alzheimer's disease, I could plan for my golden years without fear of losing myself and worry about the hurt and suffering this disease may cause my family. I'm fighting for the right to have my body not outlive my mind.
I care about dementia because it's an insidious disease that robs people of their memory, their vitality, and eventually their life. I would like to help researchers find a cure for dementia. I'm helping to eradicate dementia in honor and memory of my sweet mother. I want to stomp out dementia, and so does AARP. Please join us.
Studies suggest that Latinos in the U.S. are 1.5 times more likely to develop Alzheimer's disease than white non-Latinos. If there was no Alzheimer's, our abuelitos would live a better quality of life. They are whom I'm fighting for. Join me.
If there was no Alzheimer's, then millions of families would be able to spend time with their loved ones and create beautiful new memories. I'm fighting for a better future for Alzheimer's patients and families, and a future with a cure.
there was no Alzheimer's, I'd be able to get all this great wisdom and tips and advice from my great-grandmother as I navigate through grad schools and all the struggles that come with that. I'm fighting for her and for every other student that is missing out on those conversations. Join us.
I'm here because I know it's possible for people with dementia to still live well. You don't have to feel alone, and you don't have to feel powerless. Join us.
If there was no Alzheimer's, I would have more time to spend with my family and friends to do things that I enjoy. I fight for my 87-year-old cousin. So I invite you to join us as we do everything we can to try to find a cure for Alzheimer's.
If there was no Alzheimer's, I would still have my grandma Mary. I'm fighting for a world where no one has to lose a loved one to Alzheimer's. Join us.
If there's no Alzheimer's, then millions of people will be able to live their lives to the fullest like they used to. I'm fighting for my grandmother. Join us.
If there was no Alzheimer's, then my grandparents would probably live longer, happier lives than they are projected to right now. And along the way, I'd be able to share more memories with them. That's why I'm here fighting, not only for the future of my family, but for the future of the rest of the Alzheimer's community. So please, join us.
If there was no Alzheimer's, no frontotemporal dementia, no Lewy body dementia, or any form of dementia, millions of people would live longer, happier lives. I'm fighting for the incredible people with dementia and care partners whom I've had the absolute honor and pleasure of getting to know and work with over the last 9 years. Join us.
If there was no Alzheimer's, no one would have to be afraid of losing who they are. I am fighting for my grandfather who suffered from dementia, but also for the almost 6 million people suffering from the disease in the US and the over 15 million unpaid family caregivers. Join us, because together we can create a future worth remembering.
If there was no Alzheimer's disease, millions of families would be saved from the huge financial and emotional price tag of this illness. I am fighting for the over 84,000 families right here in Orange County, California.
If there were no Alzheimer's, my father would still be alive today. I am fighting for more resources and actions from Congress to find a cure for Alzheimer's. Join us in our fight to educate nuestra comunidad on the impact of Alzheimer's on communities of color and women. Thank you.
If there's no Alzheimer's, that means we finally achieved our human healthcare mission of eradicating this devastating disease. I'm fighting for a better world in which everyone and their loved ones can spend many more precious moments together. Join us.
I care about dementia because both of my parents, my mom and dad, suffered this horrible and debilitating illness. So I am fighting in memory of my parents.
If there were no Alzheimer's, there would be so much less suffering. I'm fighting for my kids. Join us.
I care about dementia because my father died in 2002 of Pick's disease, which is a form of dementia. He died much too soon at 67. I'm fighting in memory of him and for all the caretakers because I watched my mother just about kill herself taking care of him. Join us.
If there was a world without Alzheimer's, my grandma would still be with us today. I'm fighting for Alzheimer's, for not only the patients and caregivers across the country that are dealing with this disease right now, but the millions that are affected through the rising costs that this disease puts on our healthcare system as a whole. Join us.
My father demonstrated signs of dementia in his early 60s, forgetting where he placed things, and lost his ability to drive. Many years later, we took over the care of my husband's aunt, an incredibly accomplished woman who came down with Alzheimer's. I am fighting for both of these wonderful people who blessed my life and were taken away from me much too early. Join us.
Our family's been deeply affected by this disease. I am 100% committed, both as a CEO of Connected Living, as we passionately try to make things better for caregivers and families and communities. I am one of USA2's biggest supporters. I'm 100% in.
I care about brain health because my mom struggled for many years with dementia before passing away just a few days ago. I am reading, learning, talking, trying, and giving and fighting in loving memory of the beautiful person that my mother was. Please join us.
Hi, my name is Maddie.
And I'm Colin. And we just lost our grandma to Alzheimer's this year. This would be the second grandma we've lost to Alzheimer's. This is why we're fighting to end Alzheimer's, so people don't have to lose their moms and dads and grandpas and grandmas to Alzheimer's.
Please join us.
I care about those who have dementia, like my husband who's with me here. I'm also fighting as an advocate to be sure that we have the right care and the right facilities and the right medications and everything we can do as far as research for those who have dementia. Join us.
I care about brain health because I believe to my core that most of us have more control than we can imagine, not just delaying the onset of dementia and the progression of dementia, but also in optimizing the here and now for the purposes of happiness and life fulfillment. It's so imperative that we take control and we do so now. So please join us.
As the daughter and family caregiver of someone living with frontotemporal dementia, this issue is personal. We are fighting for my mom and all those who live with this disease. We need more research. We need more resources and tools to support people living with all forms of dementia and their family caregivers.
Join us together.
3 generations of my family over 40 years. I'm fighting against this disease for my kids and my grandkids. Join us.